The modern military is a marvel of structure, a complex machine of training, technology, and command. But what happens when that system shatters? When radios go silent and the chain of command dissolves, a soldier becomes a survivor. The 507th Maintenance Company learned this the hard way in Iraq. Through a cascade of small errors, they found themselves fighting for their lives. When technology fails, you rely on instinct, resilience, and wits. This is a timeless human drama, order versus chaos, survival against the odds. The plan was simple. The 507th Maintenance Company would follow the main combat force, providing support along Highway 8. The journey was grueling, days of driving, little sleep, and relentless desert. In the pre-dawn darkness of March 23, 2003, the convoy missed a vital turn onto Highway 1, the bypass route around Nasiriyah. Instead, they drove straight into the city, a fatal mistake in a war zone. Their vehicles, designed for logistics, not combat, became slow-moving targets in narrow streets. The atmosphere shifted as they entered the city. Curious stares turned hostile. The soldiers, trained for maintenance, grew uneasy. This wasn't their fight. The convoy, separated from its parent battalion, was now alone. Captain King, hoping to correct course, pressed on, unaware he was leading his soldiers into a preset ambush. The city was not just an obstacle, it was a trap. Iraqi paramilitary forces, the Fedayeen Saddam, were waiting. The wrong turn was more than a mistake. It was the first step into a nightmare. In minutes, the support unit would be fighting for survival in the heart of enemy territory. Not everyone would make it out. As the convoy entered Nasiriyah, command and control unraveled. Roadblocks and burning tires forced vehicles to halt and scatter. Trucks became separated, each crew isolated by smoke, sharp turns, and panic. Communication failed. Radios were useless in the dense city, leaving each vehicle cut off. Orders couldn't be relayed. Warnings went unheard. Each truck became an island, its crew alone in the chaos. Captain King at the front was fighting his own battle, unable to lead or coordinate. Leadership devolved to whoever was senior in each vehicle. The army's hierarchy collapsed, replaced by desperate ad hoc survival. Soldiers, trained to follow orders, now had to rely on their own judgment and basic skills. The psychological shock was immense. Support soldiers thrust into a test for hardened infantry. The system had failed them. They were utterly, terrifyingly alone. Survival was now a matter of individual grit and improvisation. The first shots were sporadic, then a flood. The ambush was total. Iraqi soldiers and Fedayeen fighters attacked from all sides. Unarmored trucks offered little protection. Bullets tore through metal and canvas. Fuel tankers became explosive liabilities. The convoy, once a symbol of strength, was now a shooting gallery. Survival became pure improvisation. Mechanics and clerks returning fire, adapting training to chaos. Private First Class Jessica Lynch fired until her weapon jammed. Specialist Shoshana Johnson, wounded, kept fighting. The noise was deafening, the air thick with smoke and fear. In this sensory overload, primal survival instincts took over, reload, help the wounded, find cover, keep fighting. Sergeant Donald Walters fought to cover his comrades before being killed. A jackknife truck split the convoy for good. Some vehicles tried to turn back, others pushed forward. There was no coordinated plan, only desperate individual struggles for life. The crucible of Nasiriyah burned away everything but the will to survive. The chaos was absolute, the cost devastating. In the end, survival depended on courage, quick thinking, and the refusal to give up. With the convoy shattered, survival became a series of individual stories. Small groups, stranded in disabled vehicles or on foot, relied on bushcraft principles: assess, adapt, endure. Their resources: jammed weapons, limited ammo, medical kits, and ingenuity. They read the urban terrain for cover and concealment, moving from one hiding place to another. The goal shifted from fighting to simply staying alive. Small group cooperation became vital, deciding who would stand watch, tend the wounded, share water and ammo. Each group became a micro-society, making collective decisions to survive. Even in captivity, the survival mindset endured, assessing captors, managing fear, enduring interrogation. For those who evaded capture, endurance was everything. Wounded, exhausted, dehydrated, they pushed on. Their ordeal proved that when complex systems fail, survival reverts to basics: awareness, resourcefulness, and willpower. The urban jungle demanded the same skills as the wilderness: adapt or perish. In the end, it was their mental toughness that kept them alive. The story is a testament to the power of human resilience. One of the deadliest enemies was exhaustion. Before the ambush, the soldiers had driven for over 48 hours with almost no rest. Sleep deprivation crippled judgment, slowed reactions, and clouded decision-making. The critical navigational error that led them into Nasiriyah was made by tired minds. Fatigue creates tunnel vision, pushing forward instead of stopping to think. Once the ambush began, exhaustion magnified terror and confusion. Tired soldiers were slower to take cover, slower to return fire, more likely to make mistakes. The physical toll of body armor and gear was immense. Every movement was a struggle. For those who survived the ambush, the ordeal continued. Wounded, dehydrated, and still without sleep, every decision was clouded by fatigue. Fatigue is a silent killer, degrading your most important survival tool, your mind. The story of the 507th is a tragic reminder of this truth. On any battlefield or in any crisis, rest can be as vital as ammunition. Exhaustion can be the difference between life and death. The battle lasted 90 minutes, but its impact was lifelong. The aftermath was devastation. Burning vehicles, 11 dead, 9 wounded, 7 captured. Survivors were scattered, hidden, or in enemy hands. The unit had ceased to exist. News of the ambush broke through Iraqi television, shocking the world. The rescue effort was swift. Marines fought to recover the missing, braving constant danger. The most famous rescue was Private First Class Jessica Lynch, extracted in a daring nighttime raid. Other prisoners were freed weeks later, ending the agonizing uncertainty. The army launched an investigation. How could a support company be so catastrophically routed? The findings: navigation errors, failed communications, exhaustion, and lack of combat training. The ambush became a painful case study, forcing the military to reevaluate convoy security and training. The lessons learned came at a terrible price. For the survivors, the trauma would never fully fade. The reckoning was just beginning. The ordeal of the 507th is more than a war story. It's a manual on survival. Never over-rely on technology, know the basics. Communication is life. Always have backup ways to connect. When systems fail, core skills, first aid, navigation, teamwork matter most. The greatest survival tool is the human spirit, their legacy, resilience, adaptability, and the will to endure.